What's up, everybody? My name is Max Feinstein and I'm an anesthesiology resident at the Mount Sinai Hospital in New York City. In this video series, I'm sharing tips and tricks for doing research. And in this video in particular, I'm going to be talking about 3 topics. Number 1, choosing mentors. Number 2, choosing co-authors. And number 3, and perhaps the thorniest topic of all, choosing authorship order for submitting manuscripts or abstracts. I should mention that the views in this video are my own and not those of Mount Sinai Hospital. Without further ado, let's dive in. The reason why it's so important to pick a mentor is because not only do you want to have another set of eyes on everything that you're doing, but you also want to have the expertise of someone who has research experience and also somebody who's a content expert in the area that you're hoping to publish in. In terms of identifying a mentor, I think the natural tendency in medical school and probably also in residency is to gravitate towards mentors who have high research output. Now, this is important, but I don't think that that's actually the most important quality that you want to have in a research mentor that you're identifying. I would say probably the 2 most important things that you're looking for are 1, good fit, good personal fit in terms of being somebody who you get along with, being somebody who you have an easy time sitting down in their office and being able to talk with them about research ideas. And then the second thing is that somebody who responds relatively quickly to emails and perhaps text messages. I know it might seem like a minor point, but the reality is that when you have research that takes weeks and then months and sometimes years, you want somebody who's going to be able to have a quick turnaround time in terms of questions that you're asking them, in terms of being able to provide advice, and then ultimately just facilitating getting research done and then ultimately publishing it. Now, in terms of where you're looking for a mentor, the obvious place to start is either in your own medical school or your residency program. But if you don't come up with anything there, I would highly recommend that you get online, you look at Twitter and see who's active there, you look in the manuscripts of people who have published on the topics that you're interested in and look for the corresponding author and see if you can get in touch with that person. And I would highly encourage you to just go ahead and drop them an email, introduce yourself, let them know that you're interested in this line of research, and ask them if they'd be willing to get on board either as a mentor or be able to look over a paper for you or somehow be involved with the research project that you have in mind. So now on to picking out co-authors. I would really recommend the same approach to picking out co-authors as mentors, which is you want to identify someone or some people who have expertise in areas that perhaps you're not as strong in. Personally, I'm not great with statistics, so for a number of my projects, I have collaborated with statistics graduate students at my own institution and have found that to be very helpful. In addition to picking out co-authors who are going to be able to help you out in terms of content expertise, you might also just want to pick out co-authors to be able to split up the workload in case you have a lot of work that needs to be done in terms of data extraction or analysis or any part of your project that you think is going to take a long time. Now, the third and final topic that I'd like to talk about today is order of authorship position on both abstracts and manuscripts. In case you're not familiar with this concept, it's really the most coveted position to have your name as the first author on a paper. And for better or for worse, this tends to be more impressive when you're showing your CV to someone, you're being considered for residency or fellowship and so forth. Middle authorship, which is essentially just having your name anywhere between first author and last author, tends to be viewed as less impressive, but it's important to note that anybody who has their name on a paper or an abstract should have contributed in a meaningful way. Now, the last author position is typically reserved for the principal investigator, so that's going to be probably your mentor, or if there was somebody who came up with the project, or somebody who was conceptually organizing everything that was going on with the project, more than likely is going to be the most senior author that's going to be in the last author position. Not to editorialize this too much, but it's my personal view that jockeying for authorship is an unfortunate side effect of the way that the prestigiousness of first author versus middle authorship looks like. But it's the reality for a lot of medical students and residents and thinking about what's important in terms of their career moves. But I would say probably the most important thing as you're considering authorship is to just be upfront about it at the very beginning of a project, because the last thing that you want is for 10 authors to all be working on a project together, get to the very end, have their manuscript ready to be published in JAMA, and then all of a sudden everybody realizes that nobody discussed authorship position, and I can guarantee there's going to be a lot of bitterness and resentment that results from figuring out authorship when not everybody gets the first author position. So the best way that you can avoid that is to simply state upfront what you suggest that the authorship order should be, have everybody be able to talk about it before the research is even started, and that way everyone's in agreement and the project can move forward without any issues. Well, that wraps up this video on mentors, co-authors, and authorship position. I hope you enjoyed it. I'd love to read your feedback if you want to leave anything in the comments below. And then if you like the channel and want to subscribe, go ahead and click the subscribe button right here. Thanks very much, and I'll see you next time.